Hello, my name is Hector Serratos, and this is my project presentation. For my leadership project, I decided to run a clothes drive for the Goodwill here in Kearney, and in order to do this, I recruited my roommates, to help canvas for clothing donations. And if you don't know what canvassing already is, canvassing is essentially just going door to door to pitch an idea to gain or to have people to persuade people to do something for a cause, or like for our case, donating clothes to us. And inspiration for this project was just wanting to provide access to cheaper clothing for residents here in Kearney who aren't as fortunate to buy newer clothes. And with the colder months coming upon us, I wanted to provide more access to winter clothing, which was a big emphasis when we were canvassing door to door. And, and also, I've seen my mom accumulate over the years a lot of clothes to give away to Goodwill. I mean, she used to have garbage bags of clothes in closets, and I figured plenty of homes in Kearney would have the same amount of surplus clothes that my family had. And my responsibility was basically just teaching my roommates uh, how to canvas to homeowners for clothing donations, and I did this by just providing them a script to give them a basis on what to say, and then teaching them the process of canvassing with that script based on my experiences with canvassing. I also would help coach them throughout the process just by shadowing them and then critiquing them after performances. And then I'd be responsible with picking areas in Carnegie Canvas. I do this just by just my experience in Carnegie, just scoping out nicer areas. People who are in upper class houses just would look like they would be willing to donate their surplus clothing, or I mean, would have extra clothing, obviously. Keep track of the homeowners spoken to, along with keeping track of the areas. We didn't really want to hit the areas twice. I had four guys running around Kearney, so I made sure to keep them separated, and just keeping track of the amount of clothes that we gained and the types of clothes that we gained. As I said before, we had a big emphasis on winter clothing due to the winter season coming upon us. And then I also had the responsibility of creating print advertisements by the way of flyers in order to notify homeowners of our cause. And I do this just by posting advertisements on bulletin boards, as you will see in this presentation, and also putting mailboxes or on doorsteps just to notify owners of our arrival here shortly. And yeah, let's get on to the project goals. So here are the project goals. I mean, as you can see right here, I wanted to accumulate 100 pounds worth of clothes throughout the project's duration. Uh, to determine this, we just weigh the clothes in the bags on a scale we have here, or I have at my house. And yeah, teach recruits the process of cold approaching Kearney homeowners to gain donations. You know, as I said before, I've had experiences of canvassing back at home. I used to canvass door to door for hail damage for roofs for a construction company, and I just wanted to share my knowledge of canvassing with my roommates that I recruited. I wanted to have my roommates get at least 5 donations from 5 different households throughout the project duration, and this just showed that my teaching methods were somewhat successful. That I was able to have these guys just get donations for a good cause. Here is the project timeline. I wanted to start out early on September 31st, just create the print advertisements like the flyers. I had the idea of creating drop boxes and signs, road signs, but some weather issues came upon us and the drop boxes weren't really doing too well, so I decided to scrap the idea. And but yeah, just placing the flyers on doorsteps or mailboxes of neighborhoods just to notify the Kearney homeowners of our arrival to come speak with them to see if we can get donations or just have them think about the idea of if they have any surplus clothes that they're willing to give up to us. We just really wanted to make it easier for homeowners to be able to donate to Goodwills. I mean, yeah, it's easy to just drive up to Goodwill and dump a bag of clothes, but I mean, it's a lot easier just to give somebody the clothes and have them do it for you. So, yeah, I mean, just creating the advertisements, putting on bulletin boards in Kearney business areas, gas stations, convenience stores, etc. Then on October 4th, that's the actual placing of the flyers. I mean, that's what I mentioned previously, the initial contact with residents, and then October 7th is when I decided to recruit my roommates to help me canvas the project. And then October 7th through December 2nd was when just the whole canvassing process. We wanted to take this time just to make sure we reach our goal of hitting at least 50% of Kearney. The flyer that I created, nothing too fancy, just used Microsoft Word to create it. Just included or stated our cause and that we will be arriving shortly with canvassers, and then included all my contact info as well. Then here are just examples of the flyers. Here is the original script that I provided to my roommates, and this is just to be a basis on what to say to homeowners as soon as they knock on the door. So essentially, this is just a rough draft because obviously made tweaks throughout the process of canvassing. And here's the revised script. The highlights are in yellow, or the revisions are highlighted in yellow. We found that we had greater success when mentioning that this was for the university, or not for the university, but for as a class for the university, and we started to get donations of just like shirts and jeans. I mean, jeans are good, but just shirts. Not really like what we were looking for, like jackets or coats. So we placed an emphasis on cold weather clothing due to the winter season coming upon the area. That was a line that we implemented. And then just more emphasis on winter clothing. And then we also added, also feel free to notify us when you're ready to have your clothes picked up. We are in no rush to obtain clothing, so we can come back whenever is convenient. This is just because we had problems with homeowners just not being ready for our arrival. I mean, they probably disregarded our flyers and stuff like that, but I mean, we wanted to be able to get as much donations as we could, so we just wanted to make sure that these are my workers. I decided to recruit my roommates just because, I mean, I haven't really viewed myself as a leader before this class, so I wanted to be comfortable with the people I was working with in order to explore my own leadership. So we got on the left is Tyler, right next to him is Fabian, right next to him is Brody, and then the person all the way on the right is Drew. And then here's some worker data. And here's just evidence of one of my workers canvassing to a homeowner here in Kearney. And here are the canvassed areas marked in red. And as you can see, we did not really reach our goal of canvassing 50% of Kearney. Kearney was a lot bigger than I expected, so. And then here's the total amount of clothing collected. I don't know if you can see, or you probably can't really see the numbers on the scale, but it says 13 pounds, 10 pounds, and 9 pounds. So that's 32 pounds of total clothing collected, which is not near as much as 100 pounds, but we really underestimated the weight of clothing. But as you can see, we got coats, some jeans, shirts. It's just a picture of me doing the final donation to Goodwill. Goodwill is great because they just make a demonstration of leadership skills. we did not really see a lot of success initially with this project. Homeowners do not seem to be on board with giving just a random group of boys at their doorstep a bag of clothes to donate. And I thought the reason for this would just be just the legitimacy of it. So, in order to increase the legitimacy, that came with revising the script in order to showcase that this was a class for the university and just explaining the basis of the leadership project assignment to homeowners and revisions of the script and critiquing my roommates just helped a lot. We just really I really just wanted to help teach these guys just after every door they went, just how they could do just a little bit better, and also encourage them just to rank up the numbers because the more practice they receive, the more success they will see. And it also helped that homeowners were also willing to let us know that other people would like to help out with our cause, and that was just great because it made it easier for us to gain leads on who to get next and what areas to hit. And during the process, it seemed like a competition was arising between my roommates, and I encouraged this greatly because it was just a major motivating factor for them. Um, I didn't really include any incentives based on performance, but now I think about it, I should have. And as mentioned previously, I wanted to get more cold weather clothing, so and then again came the revision of the script. So in order to place a greater emphasis on that, and just keeping the same regiment when we started to see success. I mean, there's just that saying of just not fixing something that isn't broken. We wanted to keep the same process throughout each homeowner we spoke to. Just and then, what did I learn about leadership during this project? First of all, just consistency is key to be successful at something. I mean, in order to really prosper my skills as a leader, I needed to use what I've learned in the readings associated with this class every day. The main driver with this thought was the QEQ book. And it helped with solving problems that came about when the project was starting to look unsuccessful. I mean, rather than just blaming my roommates on a bad performance, I would find myself asking myself what I could have done to prevent that failure. And after that, one of the solutions that came to mind was just asking my workers for their own feedback on how they can improve or improve the script or just how to go about canvassing areas or just stuff like that. And so listening to workers is another big piece of that I learned about leadership. And then leadership styles was a big part of this project as well. I wanted to utilize an authoritarian leadership style since I knew about the personnel I was working with. I mean, I knew they were going to need to be guided heavily during the early stages of the project. So, but later on, I wanted to implement a more democratic approach, just to give them their own freedom to be able to do some of the canvassing on their own. And next up, obviously, communication is big, whether it was with the homeowners or my workers. Just big on communication and leadership, that's for sure. And lastly, just making the process easier on my workers. I saw that they performed better when there was no